Thanks, Sophie. Coming up on tonight's South Today. An asylum seeker has died on board the Bibby Stockholm, the barge which is based at Portland in Dorset.
We campaigned against the barge because we didn't believe it was right to be housing vulnerable people here. And it's really sad that a life has been lost now.
We'll be live in Portland with our reporter Mike Apps for the very latest. Hello, good evening, I'm Sally Taylor. Welcome to South Today. An investigation is underway tonight after an asylum seeker was found dead on board a barge in Dorset. His death is the first on board the Bibby Stockholm since it arrived in Portland. The government brought it in to reduce the number of asylum seekers staying in hotels, but opponents have claimed it's not an appropriate place to keep them while they wait for their applications to be processed. Our reporter Mike Apps is in Portland for us tonight. And Mike, there's been a big reaction locally to this death.
That's right, Sally. It's been an emotional day here at Portland Port. Once news started to emerge late this morning of the death of a man on board the Bibby Stockholm. Dorset police have confirmed they were called to the vessel at around 6:20 this morning. Several sources have told the BBC that the man who died is believed to have taken his own life. And that was very much on the mind of the people I've been speaking to here earlier today who've been involved in recent weeks and months with the protests here against the barge.
Paying their respects. Local people who voiced their opposition to the Bibby Stockholm, many of whom have met some of the men on board, told me they were shocked today, but not surprised.
I hope this is a nail in the coffin for the barge. We can't afford to lose more lives. We know the faces and the people behind this policy. I think that's one thing I really want to reiterate. They are human beings who had a life, who deserved, whose lives mattered, really mattered. And so it is really heartbreaking.
When you have this many people crammed into a space that isn't big enough, in a commercial port with locked gates, then the stresses that people are going to be under are likely to lead to tragedy.
The tragedy here today is absolutely no surprise, and it was probably, completely knowable that this was going to happen when you've got people who are saying that their mental health is, really stressed, that they are having probably suicidal thoughts. When we're treating people like that, there's now 320 men crammed in there. This was not a surprise.
The three-storey barge, which has capacity for up to 500 men, houses people while they wait for asylum applications to be processed. It was first used in August but had to be evacuated when Legionella bacteria was found in the water supply. People returned in October. Local councillors have long been critical of conditions on board.
We've all had a good cry today. We were told way at the beginning that the men would be, I can't remember if the word was screened or filtered, assessed for their suitability, because there's no doubt that this is a challenging way to live. And my understanding was that people would be kind of selected, the more resilient people. But, that's clearly not happening.
Let's go back to Mike now. Mike, what's the government had to say about the death today?
Well, the Home Secretary James Cleverly earlier told the Commons that the death would be fully investigated. A spokesperson for the Home Office told us in a statement, this is a tragic incident and our thoughts are with everyone affected. The welfare of all those in our care is of the utmost importance and we take our responsibility for their well-being incredibly seriously. South Dorset MP Richard Drax has also been giving us his reaction.
Put all the blame with the illegal traffickers. It is they who are taking people from safety, mainly in France, putting them in extremely dangerous small boats and bringing them to a country where they have no connections. And ultimately, no doubt some of them feel very lost and alone. So it's the illegal traffickers I would target my anger at for this appalling illegal trade which brings so much misery.
This all comes ahead of a key vote in the Commons tonight for Prime Minister Rishi Sunak on his flagship Rwanda bill, which, if successful, would give the UK the ability to send illegal migrants to the East African country where they'd be able to claim asylum. Back to you, Sally.